Good morning, fourth grade. We are here to do a quick science review of the most important things we have learned in science the past few weeks. So we learned about resources, our natural resources that include the renewable and non-renewable resources, which includes soil. We learned about soil, or that's just a science term for dirt. And we also learned about using those resources wisely by reducing, reusing, and recycling. So the first thing we're going to review today is soil and the properties of soil. So let's take a look at our handy dandy science book. So here on page 220 of your science book, I see the properties of soil. The properties of soil are the ability to support plant growth because some soils will grow plants better than others. The color of the soil, the texture of the soil, which means how it feels, and its ability to hold water, because some soils will hold water really well, and some the water just goes straight through them, which that wouldn't be so good for plants because the plants need that water. And on page 221 here, you can see we have this really cool chart of the different types of soils. We have sand, silt, and clay. Sand can be different colors such as tan, white, green, and black. Silt is usually different shades of brown, depending on the materials that are in it. And the colors of clay include red, gray, and blue. Now the sand is very rough and gritty, and water passes through the large particles very quickly. This is not so great for growing plants in. Your silt feels smoother than sand particles, and the medium-sized particles hold water well. And there's a little bit of silt in just about every kind of soil. It just always finds its way in there. And then the clay, the wet clay feels smooth and sticky. And I know this because I've been hiking in Texas after it rains, and my foot sticks in the clay, and it's even pulled my shoe off before. So this is the kind of soil we have here in Central Texas. We have a gray clay. And small clay particles absorb water and hold tightly together, and that's what makes it sticky. Now, the best kind of soil for growing your plants in is called loam. Loam is a mixture of sand, silt, and clay. It also contains humus, which is the decaying plants and animals. So when plants and animals die, they slowly decay and turn back into dirt. And so when that's in the soil, it has many minerals and nutrients for the plants to grow. In there, there's also water and air in the loam soil. And here you see the cool pie graph. Most of it is sand, silt, and clay, but then there's water, air, and humus in there as well. Now, soil is a natural resource. Natural resources are just something you find in nature that you use. And we definitely use soil quite a bit. All living things depend on those natural resources. And there are two kinds of natural resources. There are renewable resources and non-renewable resources. The renewable resources are resources that can be replaced. Plants and animals are examples of renewable resources. Oxygen, water, solar and wind energy. These are all examples of renewable resources. Renewable means that they can be replaced as fast as they are used, or even faster than they're used. The other kind of resources are non-renewable resources. They exist in limited amounts, or they're being used faster than they can be replaced in nature. A non-renewable resource is fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are coal, oil, and natural gas. They're called fossil fuels because they were made from organisms, that's plants and animals. They died a long time ago, and then they got buried under layers and layers of sediments or dirt. And over millions of years, the pressure of the dirt on top of them, heat, decaying action changed those dead plants and animals into coal, oil, and natural gas. But there are limited amounts of this, and we're definitely using it pretty quickly. Another non-renewable resource is ores. Minerals are ores. They're a rock that is rich in valuable minerals like gold or silver or iron that we use. And one way of helping our earth is by using conservation. It means using as little resources as possible and not wasting them. So we want to use the stuff wisely. And recycling is a great way to use our resources wisely, because then instead of using it and just throwing it away, never to be used again, we can reuse it and reuse it and reuse it in different ways. So we are going to take a quick look at reducing, reusing, and recycling, their definitions, and some examples. So reduce means to use less of something. I can use less water. You can use less water by turning the water off when you're brushing your teeth or taking shorter showers. You can turn off the lights every time you leave the room to make sure you use less electricity. And instead of putting one math problem on the page of paper and throwing it away, which I've seen students do, you could put 20 problems on it, 10 on one side, 10 on the other side, and use both sides. So instead of using many pieces of paper, you're just using one. Reusing means to use something again. That's like when you refill those water bottles that we use every day. You can reuse containers. You could buy reusable bags. You could paint some old chairs and make them look new again, but you're reusing the same chair. So that's how we reuse things. Or when you donate clothes or toys or furniture to be used again by another family, that's also examples of reusing. Now, recycling is when they take your things and they melt them down, or they completely make it into something different and new. So recycling, when you take those bottles and the glass and the cans and the paper, they take it and they make it into something completely new. So that's recycling. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed our science review. And I know you're going to do great on the test, and we will see you later.